Do you remember that one summer night? The fireflies dancing, the air warm with possibility? Or the time your heartbeat raced as you stood at the edge of a diving board for the very first time? Childhood memories. They shape us, mold us, and linger like shadows in the corners of our hearts. Let's take a trip back to the moments that made us who we are. Stick with me. You might just rediscover a part of yourself you've long forgotten. But first, quick question. Did you actually eat glue in kindergarten? Or was that just me? Remember your first encounter with fear? For me, it was the basement, the dungeon of forgotten toys and suspicious creaks. I stood at the top of the stairs, debating if the Lego spaceship was worth the risk. Fear made my heart pound, but it also taught me courage. What was your first fear? And what did it teach you? Funny how those moments that scared us then now make us laugh. Speaking of laughter, the great adventure. Ah, the thrill of adventure. Whether it was climbing the tallest tree or racing your bike down the steepest hill. For me, it was sneaking out to explore the neighborhood creek. The water was ice cold, the rocks slippery, but the feeling? Pure magic. Until I slipped, of course. Don't worry, only my pride was bruised. Or so I thought. But let's get back to that later. Side note. Do you think kids today will reminisce about beating their highest score on Candy Crush the same way? The first friendship. Do you remember your first best friend? Mine was a kid named Danny, who always wore mismatched socks. We'd stay up late during sleepovers, creating secret codes and planning epic treehouse takeovers. But one day, Danny moved away. And for the first time, I learned what it meant to miss someone. Who was your Danny? Ambient sounds of children laughing, muffled goodbye, door closing. And yet, even the bittersweet memories have their lessons. The moment that changed. Everything. It's funny, the moment that shaped me most wasn't grand or planned. It was a quiet night, sitting under a sky full of stars with my dad, who told me, "Every star's a story. Some fade, but others burn forever." It was the first time I realized the power of memories. There are stars lighting our way. Oh, and about the creek adventure? That day I found an old pocket watch buried in the mud. Still have it. Proof that sometimes the greatest treasures come from our messiest moments. So, what's your brightest star? The memory that keeps you going when the nights get long? Hold on to it. Share it. And if you don't mind, share it here in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. After all, the best part of memories is that they connect us, one story to another.